What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of the 5 series, which is a video series that I've created to give you guys, my entrepreneurial audience out there, some actionable advice that you guys can implement right now to grow your business and achieve more success. And to that end, I have my sister Sarah here, who is a realtor in London for Leading London, and she is here to bring you guys some excellent tips on organization and scheduling. So thank you, Sarah, for coming on. If you don't mind, just please give us a little bit of your background, what got you into real estate, what got you into entrepreneurship, and then we'll go on with the tips.
Yeah, I love being a realtor. It's definitely something that is a lot of fun and very rewarding to be part of such an important event in people's lives. One thing that I've found as soon as I became an entrepreneur is that I am indeed my own boss, and if you're not self-motivated and if you don't have good time management skills, unfortunately you can't really be successful as an entrepreneur if you're not going to be a self-starter and be a master of your own time. When you have a boss or you're accountable to somebody else, it's easy to do that kind of work day because you have to be at work at a certain time and you leave work at a certain time and you have expectations. So if you don't have those on yourself, it's really easy to say, well, I work from home, and if you're working from home in pajamas or you're working from home and you haven't had a shower, you're not working from home. So you really do have to be a master of your time and know that, yes, indeed, entrepreneurs may work, different hours than a 9 to 5, or if you worked at a job, you might work 40 hours. An entrepreneur might work 50 or 60 hours, but it's important to make sure that those minutes matter.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah, definitely true. And that's why when we were talking about potential ideas for an episode and you brought up scheduling, I thought that would be a really excellent one, because that's something that I think a lot of people struggle with, especially again, when you're working for yourself and you also want to have, you want to work hard, of course, and you want to be motivated, but at the same time, if you're not taking care of yourself and you're not spending time with the people that you love and doing the things that you love, then kind of what's the point, right? So That's why I want to have Sarah on here, and I really appreciate it. It's going to be an awesome video, and yeah, hopefully we'll give you guys some really great scheduling tips here, and you'll be able to take back some of that free time. So that's really the goal. So I think we'll get right into it here and start off with our first tip.
So yeah, our first tip is have a system. So if you don't have some sort of system to schedule your time, then where are you getting your plan of action from? So whether that be an app-based or whether it be a calendar on your phone or device, or like me, I'm very old school and I use a pen and paper on a day planner, and I've done that for 20 years. That all started back when I had several jobs. Before I was a realtor, I never really worked one job, so I always had to make sure that I knew what my shifts were. So I got in the practice of it early on to write things down, and I also get such gratification if I do have tasks that I need to do in any given day. I get gratification from just check marking or crossing things off. It just makes me feel good, accomplished, right?
Yeah. So I don't think that it really matters that much, which type of system that you use. Again, if you're someone who really likes iPhones and you really like Apple, then go ahead and use their platform. If I know quite a few people use that Calendly or whatever it's called Calendly.
Yeah.
That one can be good. If you use Android, there's tons of apps for that. Or if you're old school, just pick up that old school agenda and use that. Whatever works for you. But the important thing is that you do have a system in place and that you do have a structure. Otherwise, you're probably not going to be using your time in the best way.
Totally.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, the second one would be, to me, it's important to get good rest, to make sure that you're well rested when you're an entrepreneur. You always want to make sure that when you complete your day, that you take a few minutes to review the things that you were supposed to do that day. And if you didn't get some things accomplished, to put them on to the next day. Because sometimes your priorities change as the day goes on, because things take precedence, or something pops up and it's a money-making activity, so you're going to do that over something that log your receipts for tax purposes. You're going to do something that's more important in that time. So it's good so that you can have a good night rest to just review the things that you were supposed to do that day, put it on, another day the next day, and so then you can go to sleep and not think about it, and you will be able to be refreshed in the morning knowing what you're supposed to do. And it's a lot easier to set that alarm at 6 a.m. If you've already sort of prepared your mind for what you have coming the next day, and get up and get at it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's very true, and that's one of the nice things about scheduling, and something that I think people undervalue when they're like, oh, I'm going to have to take all this time and put this into my schedule. Like, what does it really do at the end of the day? Well, at the end of the day, it's going to free up like your mind to work on other things. You're going to have more peace of mind when you're going to sleep at night. You don't have to be going through your head worrying about all the stuff that you need to do, and you can just like have an enjoyable night's sleep. So yeah, so I really like that one. Make sure that you're reviewing your schedule, and yeah, I mean, if things change a little bit and there's some switch ups, of course, that's okay. You don't have to stick firmly to it. We understand that there's going to be some changes, but yeah, I like that tip a lot.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, number 3, I would say, is doing a time blocking analysis. If you don't currently keep a day planner or have notes in your phone or whatever system you use, maybe try to think back in the last week of where you spent your time and what activities you did. It's very eye-opening to see really what do you do, because sometimes we go down the rabbit hole of social media and we get lost.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably waste a lot of time on
Instagram.
Get
lost doing things and you think you think you're being busy, but you're not, right? So what I did this activity was I took a calendar, a Monday through Sunday calendar, and I did write the activities that I did every day, and then I actually color coded it. And I wanted to make sure that I had some balance in my life. I wanted to make sure I scheduled some me time as well, but I also wanted to make sure I had enough prospecting, enough high-level activities, enough working in my business and working on my business in the scope of the work week. So when you look at what you do and then look at what your ideal week would be, if those things don't line up, then okay, I'm going to make some changes here because I have to fit these things in so that I am doing the best job I can in my job, right?
Yeah, definitely true, and that ties in really well with what you were talking about earlier. Just like when you are being an entrepreneur, you're working for yourself, you don't have a boss, and you really need to keep yourself accountable. And that's why I like the idea of going back. It's not enough just to schedule your time and say, okay, well, I did my work, I did my scheduling. You got to go through later, review, make sure that you're using your time the best way. And I bring up this example all the time just because I know so many people who I've seen doing this. Is like, yeah, you get on your business Instagram account and you scroll around and you're like, oh, I'm working, but like there's probably leads that you could be calling in that time. There's like, again, real money generating activities that you need to make sure are the focus. So yeah, I like that a lot.
Like kind of a 3B, if I could, is a third of your day, putting your day into thirds. So the first part of your day should be, your sort of morning routine where you set your intention for the day. You get something motivating. Whether that be a podcast or YouTube videos. There's so many things that are just free for us to get our mindset right, to get positive, to get motivated, to get good energy. You want to do those things before your second third of your day when you're going to be talking to clients or talking to prospects, because you want to bring that good energy into the work that you do. And so if you didn't have a good morning, and how many times have we like woken up on the wrong side of the bed and like by 9 a.m. we're not having a good day. Well, you can change that at any point in that day. So if you set yourself up to have a great day, by the time you get to the second third of your day and you're doing your work day, where you're doing client business and relationship building and all of that, you're going to bring your best energy and your best intention to that time period. And then of course the last third of your day, that's you may have some appointments in that time, so you do want to preserve your energy, but you also, that's time where you may be sitting back, relaxing with family, scheduling your you time, and that type of thing. So yeah, I just think it's important to think of them as blocks.
For sure, I definitely like that as well, and it's important to this is something that I've just only started to realize recently, after being in business for a couple years, that your attention span is limited, and you're not always going to be at 100%. First, I know that personally, first thing in the morning, if I'm going to do sales calls, that's going to happen between 9 and 11, just because I know that like that's when I'm going to be my freshest, and that's when I can really communicate with like my prospects the best way. Stuff like accounting and stuff you can do later in the day, you know. It doesn't you don't have to be as fresh for that. So yeah, definitely be aware of that as well.
Media,
I love
answering emails.
Yeah, you can do your social media video watching any time in the day. You don't need to do that at 8 in the morning.
Your scrolling finger works all
works
times.
Great. Works great. All right, so I think we're ready for tip number 4.
Yeah, so this one is important, and it is learn to say no. And there's a sort of an A and a B to this too, because the first thing is learning to say no to distractions, other things that come into your day. So if you have an intention for the day and a plan set out of things that you're going to do and things you want to get accomplished, you want to stick to that plan. So I've had several times when I'm in the middle of doing something and I get a phone call or a text from a friend saying, do you want to go for lunch, or can you meet for Starbucks? And you know what, sometimes you do have to say no, that you are working, even though you have that flexibility in your schedule as an entrepreneur, and it's super fun to think, oh, I could go drop this and I'll do this later. It's important to stick to the task that you're currently working at, and you can say, you know what, I can't do it today, but how about Thursday? And you can schedule that in for you time on Thursday to have lunch with your friend. So that's like saying no to things, but you also need to block out distractions, and that's a big one too.
This one's tough.
Yeah. So sometimes if you're doing your power hours in the morning and you need to get through these things that are high level activities that are important, that are really going to make a difference in your business, you need to even turn your phone to airplane mode. You need to not be distracted, because if you get a notification that comes through Instagram and you look at that and then it sets you off in this massive distraction.
For sure.
We've done some research online, right?
We actually checked the numbers on this one for you guys.
Yeah, and it was 23 minutes. Once you have a distraction, it takes 23 minutes to get your mind back into that focus that you had prior to the distraction. So the time of the distraction plus the 23 minutes. I mean, if you have 3 distractions, you've just wasted a complete hour of your time, right?
You're wasting a lot of your day by
buckling down and doing the tasks without the distractions will make all the difference.
For sure. Yeah, I like that one a lot. And that's that goes for a lot of entrepreneurs, whether you work from home. A lot of our working spaces can be kind of full of distractions these days, and there's cell phones. If you work in a co-working space, I mean, I don't even know how people do that. Like, there's so many distractions. But yeah, if you have something that's like truly important and you've decided enough to put it in your calendar that it's important, make sure that you're not letting other things get in the way. I mean, your friends are going to call you, they're going to ask you to go for coffee, for lunch. You got to do that sometimes, but again, also it's important to have the discipline, and if something is important enough that you've scheduled that specifically in your day, it's probably a good idea that you need to get that thing done, I'd say.
Totally.
Yeah. Excellent.
I think we're
Anything
almost
else?
at the end. Yeah,
we have 5?
Number 5. So this one is beware of time wasters.
All right.
So
number 5.
It's not enough to say that you're busy. A lot of people, like entrepreneurs, like, oh, how's this? How's the business? How's this? How's that? Oh, busy.
Yeah,
it's never enough to say like I'm busy, because what are you busy doing? So I think it's important to realize that like probably 20% of the activities that we do are actually like money making, high level, producing kind of activities,
like
right?
The 80-20 rule.
Yeah, like I think we could spend a lot of time on like the other stuff. And I remember a survey that was taken of realtors, and the number 1 activity that realtors did was errands. And I just thought, wow, like that's where we're spending our time. Like that's not okay. And I'm wondering if that transfers over to other entrepreneurial type business as well, is that you think you have freedom in your day so you can run errands like all day long, right? I'm busy. I'm just busy, right? But it's so important to like focus in on those activities that are the 20% that are going to make the biggest difference in your business. So just beware of the time wasting activities. And when you do set up your ideal week, make sure that you do have some activities that are or the majority of the activities are money-making activities or things that are going to really enhance your business, but you will have some of those time-wasting activities, right? Those things that are not really going to benefit your business.
Again, like if you're being analytical and you're really looking through the data that you have that you will be generating after enough scheduling, you're going to start to realize, and I definitely did myself, is like, what are the very high value things that you're doing, like when you're pursuing certain clients that generate a lot of your business, right? Those are the high level things. So if you're spending a lot of other time basically doing again social media or maybe too much emails back and forth, and yeah, it's easy to feel busy and to tell other people that you're being busy, but it's about, are you busy doing the high value, high level activities? So yeah, that's a great tip. I pretty much loved all the tips. Again, I'm very lucky to have such an amazing sister who has taught me so much about entrepreneurship, and definitely the scheduling has been a big part of that. Yeah,
and just in closing of this video, I just have two quotes that I really like, and they're both Jim Rohn quotes, and they both really speak to sort of what we've talked about here today for this video. So the first one is, time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time. And that is super true. We all get the same 24 hours in a day. A lot of people will say, give the task to the busy person, they'll get it done, which I think there is some truth behind that, because the busy person knows how to schedule and they know how important it is to be the master of your time. And then the second one is either you run the day or the day runs you. So if you don't have a plan of attack for every day of your life, then you're just kind of adrift. You don't really have any real direction or focus. So I think that keeping those quotes in mind, those are two that really stand out for me when it comes to this. But yeah.
All right, I always make all my guests do this, and it's always hard. But can we just quickly just go over the five tips again?
Sure.
Quickly.
So number one is have a system.
Awesome.
Number two is review your next day before you go to bed, just so that you wake up refreshed and that you are motivated in the morning to get up and do that work that you need to do. Number three, do a time blocking analysis. And number four, learn to say no. And number five is beware of time wasters.
Love it, love it. Well, those are some amazing tips there. I really appreciate you coming on the channel.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Really amazing. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that we delivered a very high value video. I think that the 20 or so, maybe half an hour that you guys are going to be watching this will be one of those high value activities, is my hope. Look forward to more videos on the 5 series. I'll have another one for you guys next Monday. And yeah, enjoy your day, enjoy your week. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye for now.
Bye.